Сегодня мы берем интервью с Майклом Холлом, одним из очень известных писателей, великолепным тренером по НЛП. Dear Michael, I'd like to ask you about your way in the NLP. How did you start to conduct training? What happened? What led you to the NLP?
Well, I found it, I had been reading about NLP in '85 and '86 in some journals about it, and then I met somebody who teased me by saying that he knew how to cure phobias in 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And I couldn't believe that. So he wouldn't tell me how, but he told me it was in the book, Frogs and the Princes. So the next day I went and bought the book, Frogs and the Princes, and it was that book that really got me interested in NLP, and then I took my trainings.
And what did you do to start learning NLP?
Well, at that time, there weren't that many books. So at that time, I just bought every book that there was on NLP and read it. Then I went to my first training for the practitioner course.
Is it possible for a person to learn an NLP from books? How do you think?
Well, you can learn a lot of it. You can learn a lot of the content. The training is what gives you the hands-on experiential experience.
Which education do you have?
In terms of the academic education?
Yes.
Well, my first master's degree was in biblical language and literature. And so I had a master's in Greek and Hebrew and Latin. And so then I went back and got a bachelor's of science in human management resources. Then a master's in clinical psychology, and then the doctorate in cognitive behavior.
Does it help you in the NLP, in your training, in your work?
Yes and no. It helps in that I know what people are talking about when they're talking about different psychological things, but all the old psychologies are about the sick side of human nature, and very few of those psychologies deal with the positive side of human nature. So yes and no. It depends upon what I'm working with. Whether it's in the field of psychology, it's very helpful. In the field of management, business, leadership, it's not.
You are most interested in the light side of the human nature, isn't it?
Yeah, the bright side, yeah.
Yes. And have you got any leaders from very well-known companies as your clients?
Well, we've gone into Standard Bank in South Africa, First Rand Bank in South Africa. I've worked in, and we've got lots of people that we've worked with Westpac in Australia. So those are some major bank areas that, you know, CEOs who have come to our trainings and things like that. I'm working with a company now in Canada, consulting with them. We've got a company in South Africa that's using a lot of the creativity and innovation stuff that we're working on, and the deal to work with them, because I wasn't interested in their pharmaceutical company, is that they will pay for and sponsor the school project that we've got going. We're creating the curriculum, the NLP and neurosemantic curriculum for every age from grade 1 through grade 12, so that it can be taught in schools. And once we have the curriculum ready, then this company is going to put it into 2 schools that they own.
How many pupils do you have in these 2 schools?
Well, the 2 schools would have about 700-800 children.
You have a mission about spreading NLP all over the world. Have you succeeded in your mission?
Of course not.
But what have you done till now?
Well, NLP is a niche market right now. Probably less than 0.005% of the population even know about it. So we've got a big job ahead of us. It's years ahead before we're going to get international attention to NLP or neurosemantics. So the MetaCoach training system is one system that we're working on. We're considered and recognized now as one of the the leading edge coach training companies in the world. Got over 1,000 coaches that we've certified in 37 different countries. Same thing with neurosemantics, with what we're doing there. But we're just a long way from reaching international attention.
But you have written about 35 books till now. How did you do it?
Well, the writing of the books is just something that comes naturally out of the research I'm doing and the training that I'm doing, so that comes quite natural. It comes because of the use of the genius pattern that we have in metastates, of just being able to when I focus on it, I focus on it. So the writing of the books is an easy consequence of that.
Is it interesting to work with bankers, with high-level people, with top managers? Do they differ from the ordinary people?
No, same thing. In fact, executive coaching is coaching these executives on how to get along with people. Because they have the same problems. They get frustrated, they get upset, they get angry, they don't understand why people don't listen to them. And so it's the same problems as an ordinary person has.
Have you got any events in America which join NLPers together?
No, not in America.
And where do you have such events?
Well, whenever we have our meta coaching, it's an international training. So every time we do meta coaching, even we did it in China a few weeks ago, and we had people from Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, so Taiwan. So every time we do meta coaching, it's an international training. We're doing our trainers training in Hong Kong next week. That's where I go from here. And we've got people from Egypt, from Belgium, from Netherlands, from Mexico, from Indonesia, from Australia.
Are there people different in China from America?
Well, there's differences, of course. I think there's more similarities than there are differences. There's cultural differences. There's ways of living that are different, but people are people. And we all struggle with basically the same things.